Hi, this is Mr. Matthews, and here's a brief tutorial on how to make charts and graphs on Google Sheets and copy them and get them on your Google Doc. So if I open up my spreadsheet here, and this is for any lab or science fair, you have your chart here, and if I want to make that into a graph, the first thing I need to do is highlight my data table. So this is my data table, and I can either go up here, insert chart, or I can go up here to the top and say insert and go all the way down to chart. So what Google is going to do, it's going to have some recommendations for you, but what I would suggest doing is going to chart types. So here you can just pick and choose what chart type you want, whether you want change over time, whether you want to show a bar graph, whether you want to show a scatter plot. It's totally up to you with what you want. But for my experiment here, I had three different variables and multiple trials over time. So I might just show, if I want to compare, let's just do first a line graph. And if you're looking closely, look at the data. Is this really what you want to show? And what I would do is to really take a look at these boxes here. Is this what I want to show? Do I want to show variable one and how it's changing over time, over the trials, do I want to compare each trial individually? So or each variable individually. So you can play around with the data here. That doesn't really help you out, but you can switch rows and columns, and now you have for each individual trial, trial A, trial B, you have value numbers, but that's not really what I want. I just want to really compare, and here's some aggregate data. You want to click around. What I might want to show is, in this instance, I might want to show a bar graph. So let's click on my bar graph here, and I look, is this really what I want to show? For each individual trial, I have three values, and that's something good to share. And what you really want to work on next, once you decide what it is that you want to show, you can just scroll down and figure that out. And even if I wanted to do a line graph, here it is. It's going to show up in real time. And you can play around, click in to see just exactly what it is that you want to show. Here's for each individual variable, all the different trial values. That might even be of some use. But here you go to customization to figure out what it is that you're actually showing. So when you open up customization, look at the title here. What do you want the title to be? So we're just going to call that practice graph. And you can click out of that and you can see it changes right here. And again, we haven't inserted anything, but certainly it's right there. Now we want to fix the axes. So if you scroll down a little bit, now we have the horizontal axis. So what do we want to call the horizontal axis? And we don't want it to be called trial number. Let's just say we want it to be called independent. We'll just call it variables. And click out of that, and boom, it's right there, it's changed. What we also want to label are the units on the left-hand side, so we have to click on horizontal, and we want to go to the vertical. So what do we want to call the vertical? Let's just say metric units. And we click on that. So again, once you have entered in the horizontal, the variables, and then you have your metric units, you click out of that and it automatically appears, and then you just take a look. Are you satisfied? Do you want this to be, I mean, you can play around with the colors and the fonts of everything if you want to make it the way you would like, but in the end you're going to hit insert, and now I have my pretty graph. How you get this to Google Docs, the first thing you need to do is you need to save this image. It's not as simply as just copying and pasting. So you want to save this image, save image, and it's going to be saved in the download file as image2. Okay? So you can just click out of that, and we are done. So if I want to go to, let's say I go to Google Docs, and I have a Google Doc, and I want to insert that graph wherever in my report, I would just simply go to insert, and I want to insert an image. When you insert that image, you want to choose image to upload, and you go to your download file, and whoa, and of course I have a lot of downloading to do. And if you're like me, you have a lot of things that you've downloaded. You can just search for image, and voila, there's my image. I click on that, it uploads, and bingo, now I have it on my Google Doc. And now I can move it around however I want. I can make it as large or as small as I want, and you can format it to meet your report. So that's how you do just a general chart. If you want to do a box and whisker, I know many of you need to put in a box and whisker plot for science fair. The first thing that you need to do is make sure that you have your data table correct. So when you do a box and whisker plot, of course you need to have the minimum, the lower quartile, the upper quartile, and the maximum. Those need to be calculated and put in a chart format, just like we did in STEMX as practice. You just need to do that electronically and set it up. And you need this this task. If I have two box and whisker plots that I want, and I might even add task 3. And let's just say I'm making these numbers up. Let's say it's I have 3 tasks and I want a box and whisker for all of them. So the first thing you need to do is highlight those, then go up to insert over here, or just again highlight, insert, and you want to go to chart types and you want to scroll all the way down here. Now, if you don't have access to that, then you need to play around with the check marks, because sometimes it will not give you access to it. So I want to click on the box and whisker, and right here it says candlestick chart, and there we go. We click on it and you play around with clicking here, and you can customize it, because maybe I want my title to be box and whisker. Come down here, my horizontal title, I want that to be tasks, and my vertical, I want that to be values or units, and click out of that, and there we're set. And again, if you want to play with the fonts in the background, you can certainly do that, but then you hit insert. There we go, box and whisker, all set. You have your data table, which if you wanted to get this on Google Docs, you would just, of course, hit copy and paste. But you want this data table, you want this box and whisker in your report, so you come up here, go save image, it saves it in your download file. So we will get out of that, go back to my Google Doc, and I click on wherever I would like to insert it, and I go up to insert image. I want to search for it in my downloads, so I will say image, and I got to look for my box and whisker. There we go, uploading, voila. And now I have task 1, task 2, task 3. I have my box and whisker. I can draw trends from this data, and I'm all set. So that is how you do charts and graphs, or inserting charts and graphs in Google Docs.